Welcome back to the show, everybody. Tonight, we're diving into the political mosh pit, analyzing the 2024 debate that had more tension than a Thanksgiving dinner with your racist uncle. Picture this: a stage bathed in enough dramatic lighting to make even a mime consider wearing sunglasses. The background music? Haunting, like a political thriller where the economy is the victim. And at the center of it all, two political heavyweights, ready to engage in a war of words, policies, and awkward hand gestures. Let's just say, after watching this debate, I needed a strong drink and a therapy session. And the therapist needed a drink. Now, everyone knows a good opening statement can set the tone for a debate. It's like the first punch in a boxing match, except instead of a fist, it's a teleprompter. The crowd was buzzing with anticipation. Would Kamala come out swinging? Would she deliver a knockout blow? Well, she definitely came out. But then she tripped over the microphone cord and landed face first in a metaphorical bowl of lukewarm soup. Voiceover. Look, I'm not gonna lie, her opening statement started strong. She hit all the right notes, talked about unity, hope, the American dream. It was like listening to a patriotic Hallmark movie. But then, just as quickly as it began, it was like someone hit the deflate button. Her words became as exciting as watching paint dry, her voice as flat as a pancake on a treadmill. By the end, the audience looked like they were ready to start a game of Sudoku. It was that bad. And trust me, I've seen more exciting games of Sudoku. All right, let's talk about body language. You know, that unspoken language that can speak volumes, especially when you're on a stage trying to convince millions of people to vote for you. Throughout the debate, Kamala's body language was a performance all its own. It was like watching a one-woman interpretive dance, except the dance was called awkwardly trying to swat a fly while debating the economy. Voiceover. Every time Trump landed a zinger, her hand would shoot up, fingers splayed, like she was trying to catch a falling piece of confetti. And don't even get me started on the facial expressions. One minute she's smiling politely, the next she's frowning like she just smelled something truly awful. It was distracting, to say the least. Honestly, I spent a good portion of the debate wondering if someone had released a swarm of invisible, soundless flies just to mess with her. Picture this. We're in the middle of the debate, tensions are high, sweat is practically dripping off the chandeliers. Kamala looks at Trump and utters two words that sent the internet into a frenzy. Mr. President. For a split second, everyone thought they'd been sucked into a time warp. Did she forget who was president? Was it a Freudian slip? You could practically hear the collective gasp of millions of Americans. The memes were instant, brutal, and absolutely hilarious. You'd think there'd be some serious damage control, right? But no. Kamala just kept going, like a runaway train. The internet was not about to let her forget it. The hashtag Mr. President started trending faster than you could say alternative facts. It was a full-blown internet meltdown, and Kamala was at the epicenter. In the world of politics, it's nice to have a good old-fashioned gaffe every now and then. All right, so we're moving on from the Mr. President debacle, and the moderator throws a real softball question. Senator Harris, what are your plans to address the growing economic concerns of the American people? Simple, right? Lay out your economic policy, talk about jobs, maybe throw in a buzzword like synergy or blockchain. But instead, Kamala takes us on a journey. A journey to Dairy Queen, apparently. That's right, folks, she starts talking about ice cream. Her favorite flavors, the best toppings, you name it. It was like watching a food blogger accidentally wander onto the debate stage. Now, I love ice cream as much as the next guy, maybe even more. But I don't expect to hear about it during a presidential debate. It was like she missed the memo, thought she was on The View instead of debating the future of the free world. The look on Trump's face was priceless. It was like he couldn't decide whether to laugh, cry, or order a banana split. And the internet, well, they didn't disappoint. The memes were flowing faster than a milkshake machine on a hot summer day. People were photoshopping Kamala into ice cream trucks, making puns about scooping up votes. It was a whole thing. Look, I get it. Debates are stressful. Sometimes you just need a mental vacation. But maybe, just maybe, when you're running for the most powerful office in the world, choose a destination that's not the frozen food aisle. This wasn't just a gaffe, it was a full-blown brain freeze. And unfortunately for Kamala, it happened on the national stage, with millions of people watching and wondering if maybe, just maybe, they should have invested in that ice cream company stock after all. Now, every good debater needs a strategy, right? A game plan. Some go for the jugular, others try to outsmart their opponent. Kamala, well, she went with a smile and nod. It was like she was trying to win the debate by being the most agreeable person in the room. Which, let's be honest, in a debate with Donald Trump, is kind of like bringing a pool noodle to a knife fight. You're not wrong for bringing the pool noodle, it's just not exactly the most effective weapon. Every time Trump would say something outrageous, and trust me, there were plenty of those moments, Kamala would just smile politely and nod. It was like she was trying to channel her inner bobblehead. And you know what? It was kind of unsettling. Look, I'm all for being positive, but there's a fine line between being optimistic and being a doormat. And unfortunately, in this debate, it felt like Kamala tripped over that line and face-planted straight into a pile of "yes, sir, whatever you say, sir." The problem with the smile and nod strategy is that it makes you look weak. It's like you're agreeing with your opponent, even when you're not. And in a debate, perception is everything. The internet, of course, had a field day with this. The memes were ruthless, comparing Kamala to everything from a nodding dog toy to a hostage trying to convince their captors they were cooperating. It was brutal, but let's be honest, kind of accurate. Kamala needed to show some fight, some fire, well, anything other than a constant loop of smiles and nods. Picture this: the debate stage, millions watching, and Kamala Harris is mid-sentence about the economy or climate change. Suddenly, her hand shoots up, like she's trying to catch a rogue mosquito. I've seen more coordinated dance moves at a middle school disco. The worst part? The mosquito wasn't even real. It was like a deleted scene from the Twilight Zone. One guy's scratching his head, another's checking his popcorn. For a moment, it felt like the fly was winning the debate. But hey, at least it provided some comic relief, right? You gotta laugh, otherwise, you'll cry. Brave move, gotta give her that. She starts with, "You know, Donald, we both have something in common. We both love America." Crickets. Absolute crickets. You could hear a pin drop. Trump just smirks and shakes his head. Even the moderator looked like he wanted to disappear. The joke landed flatter than a pancake on a runway. It was almost painful to watch. Now, let's talk about the moderator. The poor moderator. His job is already tough enough, trying to keep two political heavyweights on track. But Kamala wasn't making it easy for him. She kept interrupting him, talking over him, like he was a background singer in her one-woman show. It was like watching a tennis match where one player keeps hitting the ball before it even crosses the net. You can practically see the frustration on the moderator's face. He's trying to maintain order, keep the debate flowing, but Kamala's got other plans. She's like, "Nope, my turn to talk, and I'm not waiting for your signal." It got to the point where you almost felt sorry for the guy. Almost. At one point, the moderator tried to interject, do his job, and Kamala just gave him this look. This look that said, "Are you serious right now? Do you know who you're talking to?" It was a look that could curdle milk, a look that could wilt flowers, a look that could make a grown man cry. And the moderator? He just wilted. He backed down, let her finish her point, and you could practically hear the sigh of defeat across the nation. It was like watching a lion tamer realize he forgot the whip. Let's just say it wasn't Kamala's finest moment in terms of debate etiquette. All right, folks, we're reaching the finish line, the final moments of the debate. This is it, the time for Kamala to rally the troops, deliver a closing statement that will leave everyone feeling inspired, motivated, ready to vote. Except it didn't quite go that way. Instead of a powerful roar, we got a fading whisper. Seriously, it was like someone hit the mute button. Her voice, which had been booming moments earlier, suddenly dropped to a low murmur. It was like she was telling us a bedtime story, and a boring one at that. The audience was leaning in, trying to catch her words, but it was no use. Now, maybe it was a technical glitch, a microphone malfunction, who knows? But the effect was, shall we say, underwhelming. It was like the air went out of her sails right when she needed them the most. The message, whatever it was, got lost in translation, or rather lack of volume. Even Trump looked a little confused, like, did she just finish? I thought she was still warming up. The whole thing was anticlimactic, to say the least. It was like watching the grand finale of a fireworks display, only to have the last firework fizzle out before it even leaves the ground. Not exactly the grand finale you hope for in a presidential debate. All right, folks, let's talk about the elephant, or should I say the elephant and the donkey, in the room. Kamala versus Trump. This was supposed to be a debate, not a demolition derby. I mean, Trump was in rare form, folks. He was like a stand-up comedian who stumbled into a presidential debate by mistake. Kamala, on the other hand, well, she looked about as comfortable as a vegan at a barbecue. She had some good points, but the delivery? It was like watching someone try to parallel park a bus in a thimble. Like, remember that moment when Trump said something completely outlandish? And her response was basically a very eloquent, "Oh, come on, man." He's like a chaos gremlin. The more frustrated you get, the stronger he becomes. You need to play a different game altogether. You need to be calm, collected, and ready with the facts. Now, I'm not a political strategist, folks, but I've watched enough political debates to know that the goal is to convince people to vote for you. It's not rocket science, it's more like political science? Anyway, the point is, you gotta bring your A game. You gotta be sharp, witty, and most importantly, you gotta have a plan. And that's where I think Kamala, bless her heart, missed the mark. It felt like she walked onto that stage with a notebook full of talking points and a dream. But Trump? Trump came prepared for war. He had his zingers, his one-liners, his carefully crafted sound bites designed to go viral. He knew exactly what buttons to push, what narratives to spin, what lies to repeat until people started believing them. It was like watching a masterclass in manipulation, albeit a deeply unsettling one. You know, like finding out your favorite chef also collects porcelain dolls. Talented, but terrifying. So, what was the overall impact of Kamala's performance? Well, let's just say it wasn't the knockout punch she needed. In fact, it might have even energized Trump's base. You know, those folks who love it when he's being Trump. The ones who cheer when he insults his opponents, who laugh when he makes fun of disabled reporters, who applaud when he brags about sexually assaulting women. Yeah, those guys. They were eating this debate up like it was a bucket of extra crispy KFC. And that's the problem, isn't it? When you're up against someone who thrives on chaos, you can't afford to be the voice of reason. You need to be the voice of something stronger, something bolder, something that can cut through the noise and make people pay attention. Well, folks, there you have it. The top 10 reasons Kamala Harris lost the 2024 debate against Trump. It was a night of missed opportunities, awkward moments, and enough cringe to last a lifetime. But hey, that's politics for you. It's a contact sport, and sometimes you get knocked down. The important thing is to learn from your mistakes, dust yourself off, and come back stronger next time. Or, just avoid debating Donald Trump at all costs. That's probably the safest bet. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today. Join us next time when we'll be discussing the top 10 reasons why pineapple on pizza is an abomination. Spoiler alert, it's all of the reasons. Stay tuned.